Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we've got the cities of Sigmar, getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar video, and today we're going to be looking at the sub-faction Misthavn. So, Misthavn, you can find the rules for this particular sub-faction inside Broken Realms Morathi, or if you have the Warhammer Age of Sigmar app at the moment of this time of recording, it is free to find these rules on the app. And so in this video, what we're going to aim to do is take you through how you can build a Misthavn army and what this army can give you on the tabletop, how to start it, with what models to grab first, what models to grab later, and at the end of the video, we'll also show you a little sample army list, how you can put this all together. But to get started, let's talk about what Misthavn gives us. Well, first of all, it's a Cities of Sigmar sub-faction. So we're going to get all those generic rules we get for cities. We're going to get, the empowered endless spell, or rather the +1 to cast endless spells that we now get from cities. We're going to get the adjutant, the general, and all those sort of things, the honored retinue, etc. So long as we're going down that road. Now, we also, in this city, it focuses on an alliance really of Free-Guild, Dwarden, and Dark Elves, with this nice cool mix of rules and mix of units really sort of playing off each other. The army also gets a unique enhancement called Narcotics. Now, you get one of these, and then you get one for every other artifact in your army. So this is pretty cool. It's also a unique enhancement, I guess. So this means you can purposely take extra narcotics, but you would always take an extra artifact and get a narcotic alongside your artifact is how it currently works for Misthavn. You then can ambush Dark Elf units in the army, and they can even move after they appear on the table thanks to a cool command ability in the army. However, to ambush your Dark Elf units, you can only ambush some of the Dark Elf units, and that would be the Scourge Privateer units, the Shadow Blades, and the Order Serpentis units. And for every one of these you put in ambush to ambush onto the table, you require to have a very Darkling Covenant, Dwarden, or Free Guild unit on the table. So that's how sort of it brings these three pieces together. Your Dwarden, your Free Guild, your Darkling Covenants will form your battle line. Meanwhile, Order Serpentis, Scourge Privateers, and Shadow Blades will deploy in ambush and take the flanks of your opponent's army. With that all said though, let's go look at how we can start getting this army onto the tabletop with some models. And so, to start off with, I really like the idea of a Rune Lord as one of your first purchases for the army. Alongside him, you want to take some Iron Drakes, because the Rune Lord's a big thing is he has a prayer he can use that gives +1 rend to a unit of Dwarden near him. And of course, this works amazing on things like Iron Drakes, who already have a rend 1, can pump out a ton of shots if they don't move, and even a decent amount of shots if they do move, at rend 2 with a decent hit and wound rolls. For the unit. So a really good starting combination to get 2 units on your table, enabling you to take 2 units in reserve as well. Not only that, but a Rune Lord also has the ability to get some really good bonuses to dispel and unbind endless spells, so he's a really useful sort of unit in that respect as well, giving you some great magical defense alongside some cool buffing ability for your other Dwarden units. Alongside them, one of the first units I recommend buying, as I think it's one of the 2 best things you can ambush in the army, are Drakespawn Knights. Drakespawn Knights are a fantastic anvil unit. They can hold up your opponent's army by deploying them in ambush, bring them on the table, deep striking, moving, and throwing them into your opponent's lines. With a 3-up base save, this unit will tag your opponent on the flank and then hold them up. Meanwhile, you can move your Rune Lord, your Iron Drakes, and your other battle line units into position, take the advantageous positions, and start shooting your opponent off the table. And also, the Drakespawn on the charge might do a little bit of damage as well. So you've got some good sort of combination between your units here, some units that are going to hold up, meanwhile you can move forward, your shooting units get in range, and start unleashing those hails of fire into the enemy's lines. But where do we go after those initial purchases? Well, for me, I talked about 2 units I think are the best units to outflank with in the army, and the other one is the Dreadlord on Black Dragon. This is a fantastic piece, and really I think the big central piece of any Misthavn army. Dreadlords on Black Dragons can be great, especially when they can Alpha Strike, move immediately after they come onto the board with a Shadow move, and then hit your opponent's lines. One of these is great at 1,000 points, and a couple to stagger over a couple of turns of a couple of ambushes using their move after they come on the board ability is great. They've also just pack a punch. They've got a 4-up base save, but they do generally have a 3-up so long as you got the shield. They can potentially have shooting weapons. They've got some good damage on the charge, and the dragons in general don't degrade all that much as their damage that remains consistent. Not only that, but a fantastic command ability for an aura of +1 to wound is great. And bringing a unit of these on alongside or even after a unit of Drakespawn Knights, or first and then bring the Drakespawn Knights on second, is a great way to sort of stagger and get some buffs across your force. We then talk Free Guild Guard, and for me, the one reason you look at Free Guild Guard in a Misthavn list is they are cheap. They are a cheap unit that's going to give you screens, going to give you decent screens at that, because Free Guild Guard do have a 4-up save if you take Sword and Shield on them, so you've got a really solid option there for a great cheap unit that's going to allow you to screen out and sort of protect the shooting units you've got on the table while you're waiting for your ambushes to arrive. This is why I really like Free Guild Guard. Scourge Runner Chariots are another unit I really like to bring on from ambush. They've got large base sizes. This means they can really be good at sort of zoning out areas of the board. If your opponent leaves objectives, the Scourge Runners come on and take the objective. With 3 models in a unit, they can actually zone out an objective really well, though this does take up a lot of your reinforcement points to do so with a 3-model unit. But you could always bring them on in singular units and just have 3 of them zoning out an objective, etc. They also do mortal wounds where they're shooting, so being able to get some cool mortal wounds into the shooting range is nice, though it's not always reliable, as they do require a 60 hit on 2 shots to get those mortal wounds, but it is D3 when it happens. Other than that, Ironbreakers are a great unit I like in my battle line as well. They are sort of different to Free Guild Guard. Where Free Guild Guard are cheap and decent, Ironbreakers are much more reliable as a sort of holding unit, and while they're not as expendable as Free Guild Guard, they will do a better job of holding the line than Free Guild Guard. So you've got your 2 options there, something cheap and something more expensive. Where do you sort of want to lie is up to you, but these are 2 fantastic unit options to sort of pick for your army list. With this all said though, we're going to look at a little sample army list and see how we can bring this all together into an army and put Misthavn on the map. And so here we have a little sample army list of Misthavn for you. For starters, we're going to be playing in the mortal realm of Ulgu, obviously, because that's where Misthavn is. It's in the realm of Shadow. But we've got Bastion of Hope, our grand strategy, a really cool grand strategy, very similar to Predator's Domain, and you can pick that if you want. But Bastion of Hope instead counts, faction terrain as 3 points rather than 1, and that can be really useful as we have the ability to sort of ambush with this particular army. So for Triumph as well, we've gone for Bloodthirsty, a re-rollable charge. Of course, we've got ambushes. This is just the Triumph to always go for with the army, without a doubt. Our leaders in the army, we've got a Dreadlord on Black Dragon who's going to be our general, and the main reason he's going to be our general is he's going to take the command trait Shadow Lord, which allows him to use the move after setting up from ambush command ability once per turn for free. This doesn't allow us to do extra ones or anything like that, but it does save us on some CP, which is really, really nice. I like going with the Exile Blade and Shield, giving him 6 attacks and giving him the better save, though the Lance and Shield is definitely a cool option as well. It does great on the charge, but for me, it doesn't really matter. It's all about that dragon getting the attacks in. It generally does the most damage. And he's got Misthavn Narcotic Witch Mist. So Witch Mist, while we won't allow you to take any benefits or negatives, and will effectively give you the ethereal rule once per game. Now, the issue with this is on Dreadlord Black Dragon, his shield currently gives him +1 to his saves. So you will be on a 4-up, but it is really cool. If you're getting hit with very high range, it's a great time to use your Witch Mist. The Mount trait, Furtive Breath, you can find in the updates for Cities of Sigmar in the White Dwarf update. This just turns his Mortal Wound Breath attack to 5s and rather than 6s to do mortals. The Rune Lord is going to have our artifact for the army, and because we have the artifact in the army, we're going to get an extra narcotic because you get 1 extra narcotic for every artifact in your army. So the Gloom Bell is a once per game ability that puts out a 12-inch aura of -1 to hit with shooting. Pretty darn cool. It can really help sort of protect you from shooting alpha strikes and stuff like that. And Skiffer's Salve is going to be a D6 heal on our Rune Lord, which is really nice in case he gets targeted by a bit of splash damage or something like that. For Universal Prayer, Curse is always good. We've got lots of attacks on different models, and really, Heal could be an option, as we do have Drakespawn Knights and a Dreadlord in there. But generally, I think these 2 units are going to be very far apart. That Heal's not going to be the best option, so I think Curse, but generally probably using his own Warscroll Prayer to buff up the Iron Drakes we've got in the list. 2 units of 10 Free Guard will protect our 10 Iron Drakes and Rune Lord as sort of our base of power. And then we've also got 10 Drakespawn Knights in the army to come on from ambush and sort of stagger probably the Drakespawn Knights maybe second after the Dreadlord comes in, does the first smash, survives hopefully, and allows the Drakespawns to come in, uses big command ability to get the +1 wound on both units and really go to town on something else in the army. Everything here is wrapped up inside a battle regiment, so it's a 1-drop army, which is really, really nice and great for having all the ambushes in the army. At 965 points, there is a good chance we will get that triumph, so a rerollable charge with Bloodthirsty is great. We've taken one of our 2 reinforcement units, no allies, and 69 wounds, which is pretty solid at this points value. If you've managed to get some games in with Misthavn in the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, let us know in the comments below how you've been going and what you've been running. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and turn those bell notifications on so you don't miss a beat when we upload new stuff to the channel. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by helping support the channel on Patreon or YouTube members. This allows us to continue to make new content for the channel, exploring other game systems outside of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, like we have started to with things like Elder Scrolls: A Call to Arms and Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings and Warhammer 40,000, and it helps us just continue to make more Age of Sigmar content as well. Thank you to, though, everyone who has helped support, and we'd like to give them all a shout out to our patrons. First of all, Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, and Samuel. And to our YouTube members as well, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny Lockloric, The Johnny 84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Sean Scott, and Diplomat. And a special thank you, of course, to, first of all, Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel you see here, and to Xmorphic, who does all the awesome background work on our Discord server, keeping that nice and running properly for us all. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against Grey. Ciao for now.